Hi, this is Sally Wood for Be Inspired, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do a back seat cushion. This is for a sofa. I haven't actually seen the sofa, so I don't know how it goes together. And the other week I did the seat cushions, which I decided not to film because I've done that style plenty of times. So on this one I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. It's a feather filled one which has just seen better days. So let's get on with it. Because it is slightly plumper and rounded and a little bit more squishy, I took an overall guesstimate as to how big it was. And you can see here it's kind of smushed down in the middle. This will correct itself in a minute. This has a bolster. This is also filled with feathers, but I'm not going to be changing this part at all. It's the piece that is inside that is going to be worked on. So I'm going to take that out and go from there. This is the bolster bit on the back, and there is a zip on the inside here if I wanted to replace it. Sometimes it's zipped in, sometimes it's sewn in, but there's usually some way of getting those kind of things off. It's a bit like an ottoman top. There's always a way of getting the cushion piece off. Over the years this has crunched down. The last people that put this together, they literally just put all of this in to fill out the spaces where the original cushion had crunched down too much. That's quite normal. I've opened this up and you can see it's just like a normal channeled cushion. If it was filled with polyfill, I could have opened this up and put more in, but I really don't like messing with feathers, so that's why we're changing it. And she doesn't like the way this feels anymore. This is a medium density, and it's medium quality as well. So it's slightly cheaper, but it's really good. Again, I'm using the super soft, and I'm only putting it on one side, not both sides. So I'm going to fold that over to make sure that touches the top of my counter on both sides. And with a pair of scissors, I am literally going to cut towards this corner, like this. And the same on the other side. There's where the corner is. I can feel it with my fingers, so I'm cutting towards my fingers. Basically what happens is that is going to fold over. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. If it's slightly shy on each side or slightly over, it really won't matter in this application. And then with your adhesive, just lightly spray it and let that rest on top, like that. So let that set up for a little bit. Now I am actually going to wrap it sideways on. So the edge of the fabric is here. I could do it this way, but there's too much wastage and I'd much rather use my dacron effectively. And not only that, it's a good way of using up some extras. So I'll go and get my extra piece and we'll get cracking. I've cut a strip up like this and I've placed it about an inch back from here. The top fabric I'm just going to overlap by about an inch. And usually I overstitch like that, but all I'm going to do here is a running stitch. I do that because it's less likely to be felt through the next layer that I put on. And I'm just going to put this running stitch all the way along. Make sure you get both parts of the dacron, and just, as my mother would say, homeward bounders. They don't have to be pretty, they've just got to do the job that's required of them, which is to hold two pieces together. Now that I've sewn it, I need to make sure this is really nice and tight in, and that's the trick on this one. So I'm going to pull it forward like this. The reason is I want this to wrap onto the pink as tight as I possibly can. And the best way to do this, I have found, is to pop that down on the front and push it all in together like that and on over. You can see I've got a nice finish up there at the moment. Now this is when the fun comes in, because keeping all of this in place on this side is not quite so simple, because it just wants to unroll. There's nothing to hold it. So I'm going to pull this dacron up over the top like this. On the front it's doubled over. Now on this front border, all I have to do is come underneath, you see my hand there, push that really tight in and pull this tight over the top all the way along. Anyway, take the time to smooth it all out. The foam needs to be as flat as possible. The dacron comes to about here and the foam is a little bit lower, and then I'll work my way on the other side. And you can see it's nice and smooth. Then along the back here, I'm going to push it down towards the counter and just cut across. like this. And that's so that when I pull it in tight and so it is hidden behind the back of the chair. On the side here, the end of my foam comes here. So I'm just going to cut in like this, across, and then down here. And I'm actually going to come out a little bit because I need to go on the outside of the foam that's underneath. And I'll cut that all the way around. Now just like on the other side, I'm going to cut in like this towards the pink and then about an inch out from there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody is going to see this at all. Just make it as tight and as neat as possible. The fact that this piece under here and that at different lengths doesn't really matter. And then here again, I'm just going to cut the outside, a generous outside by the looks of it, all the way along. Just like with my other cushions, I'm just going to cut that into the corner like that. The only difference is I'm going to push this up here, pull that across like I usually do, pull that down and then pull that up. And I'm going to stitch all the way across here because I need to make this tight. That's the key to this style. Keep that down, this up and pull it in. And again, I'm only doing a running stitch to keep it nice and flat. This is going on the back side of the cushion. The double dacron will be on the front and then work all the way to the top like this. When I come into the end here, I'm just going to cut that down so that can be rolled under like that. Not too tight. I want it to fill out the corner. Do it this way for this side. The reason is I'm going to pull that up like that and I'm going to tuck that down into there. This pulls over the top and that pulls into place. And I'm just going to secure that up to this corner. Just over stitch that a couple of times to hold that one in place. And now I'm going to work on down the back side or the top side of the cushion. So again, I'm just going to do those long, lovely homeward bounders to the end. Just hold everything in place. On the last side, I'm going to just push that up like that. That can just pop into there. This can pop down like that. That can be pulled down on top and that can be pushed up like that. And all I'm going to do, like I've done before, is start it off here like that and then sew on down to the end. And then this is the third side sewn in. I've just pushed all of this in here so it's nice and tight. I'm going to finish this off like this. The new cushion is done. Basically, I need to get this back in. I will pop that this way up with the front uppermost, and then I'm going to swap this over. So this rounded part is the front. My sewing here is at the top, and I am just going to pop this into this cover like this. In one end, scrunch it in like that. Now this is a little bit awkward because usually I fold these in half. And having got one end in, as best I can, I'm going to push that over like that. And with luck, not split the zip as I push this side in. And I'm just going to wriggle it round till it's all in place. With this on the back here, it just makes things a little bit awkward, but not bad. I'm just glad it's a pliable fabric. And then again, just push all of that up like that and in. I just wanted to show you there is a bit of a difference. This is the original and you can hear it's a little bit squishy. It does have structure, obviously, but it's a softer, plumper, rounder structure. Whereas this one in comparison is slightly more squarer, but because I've got the double dacron on the front, it does give that nice rounded look that this one has, but it's a little bit more firm. I think she's going to be pleased with these. I hope so. I always worry when I do things for people because you never know, but I think that's fine. And I'll get this one done. Looking at this, I think this actually sits better on the back of this cushion than it did before, as this cushion has more structure to it. Thank you for joining me on this short video. This is the third back seat cushion that I've done. I've done each one slightly differently due to what was required by the customer. But I hope that I've imparted some useful information to you. I'm actually rather pleased with these. I think this looks pretty neat. Not quite the same as it came in, a little bit more structure. This is the first one that I've done that's had a bolster on the back, so that was quite interesting for me. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, hit the bell button if you want to see more from me, and a few thumbs up would be absolutely excellent. It lets me know how I'm getting on. And in the meantime, see you later. Take care. Ciao. Peter, can you turn that down? Pip! Peter! Can you turn that down a bit? Thank you.